Okay, NPFL. Let's talk about the NPFL for a second. They did something unusual, and I say it's unusual because it is. It doesn't happen very often. They did something that I don't know if a lot of people like. I don't know. I heard some rumblings about some different things, but I mean, it's also social media, and people from social media love to complain. They love to give their 2 cents about stuff that mean nothing, but whatever. I'm going to do the same thing. NPFL, I believe, was on Pickwick, and they had a tournament, and they were like, hey, you know what? Fishing's not good in the morning, which is weird. And I will say that because we're all taught fishing's really good in the morning and the evening times. Where we live, morning time, like you better be on your juice right off the bat in the morning time in the summertime, or you're gonna get killed, right? So much of our fish down here we catch in the morning time. They're on a generation schedule though, and the generation schedule apparently didn't start till later on in the day. I think it's like that all the time if they keep consistent with it. So they're like, hey, we're not going to start this tournament in the morning. We're going to start around 10 o'clock. And man, here comes some comments of some people. Now, it's hard to please everyone. I get it. Here's what I'll say. I was all for it. I was very critical of the NPFL about their schedule this year. I thought they were going to some places that, man, it didn't bother me that they didn't have a lot in the springtime. I have a theory when it comes to this bass fishing, when it comes to YouTube videos, when it comes to all this stuff. I don't care what other people have to say when it comes to this, and I'll explain. We used to fish tournaments. FLW used to go around, and bass used to fish like when Amstead and Falcon and all these lakes were popping off, and guys were catching like 30 pounds and 35 pounds and whatever it might be. FLW was going to these places, and they used to call it like the 12 pound tour or something like that, where if you caught 12 pounds, it was good because they were going to these tougher places and things like that. And everyone was like, and you'll see people in the comment like, oh, I love to see a lake where it's tough and guys have to work for it and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I guess. I don't like watching people not catch fish. I don't care about people catching 2-pounders. I don't really care about tough events. Tough events, I'll pay attention to them. I just won't watch them. There's a big difference. I'll come and look to see who won in the results, right? And see how it's great to see top pros struggle on lakes like we all do, right? We don't want to just go to these farm ponds. I get that part. But we want to go to places where they actually catch them. Like where you're not sitting there on live for 45 minutes waiting for a guy to catch a fish. That's important. And I remember when we fished the tour and we went to St. Clair. I'll make a video about St. Clair. But when we went to St. Clair, we crushed on them. This is back before forward-facing sonar, so like we were all out there just regular fishing, and we crushed on them. It was like the most. I mean, people were more in tune with that tournament, and more people paid attention to that tournament than the other hard events. So I'm all about going to events where you crush on them, guys crush on them, and it's fun to watch. It keeps you entertained because let's just face it, watching a guy fish is not fun when he's not catching anything. Even when you put 4 people on the screen and no one's catching anything, and they're all not talking, and even if they are talking, it's like only some guys you can only listen to for so long. So you want to see guys catch some fish. So when they did this, I was like, oh, okay, they're going to catch them better if they do this. All for it. All for it. You know, when I talked to Ronnie Moore, and we had our podcast the other day, and LiveScope got brought up, and like I said in that thing, it's a no-win situation for everyone right now. And what I mean by that is LiveScope's great for guys that just want to go catch fish. Right now in tournaments, I don't dislike it. I do think it's going to be bad for a lot of people that don't like it and that don't want to watch it. And so it doesn't matter if you take it out or put it in. Half the people aren't going to like it. Half the people are going to like it. It doesn't. It's a bad situation because there's a no win. There's no win. What I told Ronnie, and I said, hey, look, you're the tournament organization. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. Y'all can say every day there's live scope, every other day there's not live scope, every tournament. The tournament organizations can do whatever they want. We do not have to follow the guidelines, right? And what I mean by the guidelines, we're allowed to fish with live bait in most lakes, right? I guess probably all lakes or all states. I don't know. Live bait's the thing. Like, it's no big deal. You can fish with live bait, just fun fishing. Just can't do it in a tournament. Tournaments put that rule in there, not guidelines from the state or anything. There's nothing that says we can't go fish at night, right? So I know it's been done a certain way, but tournaments can do whatever they want to. Now, I think they need to do it for a specific reason and have a pretty good thought process behind it. To me, what they were doing with Pickwick and the fact that it was going to be better fishing overall and do it this way, I have zero problem with it. They were going to catch, man, they're going to Pickwick in July. Everyone else goes up north and goes smallmouth fishing. But we're all out here in July fishing for largemouth as well. I want to go see how guys catching this time of the year. So many guys, like I want to see guys crank them up or do different things. I didn't watch any of the event. I was fishing. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I've always said I don't watch a lot of those events. What I'm saying is I thought it was a good idea. I thought it was smart. I think it's always smart. We've been, I did a video a couple weeks ago that got everyone all in a blunder about like slot lakes and stuff, and that how I have zero problem with them like getting on some of these slot lakes and making tournaments be able to like have like a little card or something that allows us to keep fishing a live well if we're in that tournament. We've done this in the past. I can't tell you how many times we'll go and we have to have certain permits sometimes that we have to have that on us when we fish a tournament. A lot of times they'll get permission for us to keep like certain like smallmouth. I don't know if it was Cumberland or where it was that they had a rule you couldn't, certain times of the year you can't keep one under 18 inches. And they're like, man, it's going to be hard. So they allowed us to keep them in that range of like 14 to 18. And a lot of us like caught a whole bunch of smallmouth in the tournament and we all let them go and the lake's fine. So like I have zero problem with that. I think they do a good job. I think tournaments should be able to do that if they get permission and we're letting them go. I mean, I'm tired. I did that video the other day making fun of all the people that just sit around and all they ever do. I mean, they complain about, I don't mind complaining about certain things, but golly, it gets old. I mean, the minute the water hits 65 degrees, guys are like, oh, fish care, man, they're gonna die. I'm like, golly, you do realize we still are fishing. We're in a sport, right? We figured out a sport that allowed us to do the sport. We're allowed to keep them and kill them and eat them. And we figured out how to change the narrative to where we're getting to participate in the sport while keeping them in a live well, not a death well, in a live well, and release them later. Are some going to die? Yes. Okay. It'll be okay. I promise you. Just go, please do some research and stop listening to certain people and realize that you can't even, it's not even hurting anything. They will tell you tournament fishing has zero impact on a fishery. So when they do all this stuff and they go in the summertime and all these guys complain about, they just want to complain. They're just complaining. For once, some of us need to stop listening to those guys. Stop listening to the guys that complain about things that they have no idea what they're talking about. So good job, NPFL, going there at the right time, making an adjustment to where guys will catch them. Hopefully guys watch live more. Hopefully it was a more viewed event. And that is looking out, that's better for the anglers. The anglers had more fun. I can tell you, I hated driving halfway across the country to go to a sorry lake. Like, it was not fun. Now, was it supposed to be fun? Yeah, it was. I got into fishing because it's fun. I didn't get into fishing because I didn't want to go fish. Like, hey, let's go figure out the worst lake in the country and go fish it. No, y'all can have that. I want to go fish fun lakes. That's what we all do. We all want to go fish fun lakes. None of us sit out there and go, let's go fish the worst lake we can find. So, good job, NPFL. Keep doing that. I don't know what the rest of the schedule looks like for y'all. If y'all can, fix some of that. And what I mean by fix some of it is like, man, I don't know if you can always do that. Like, it's hard to sit there and change times like that knowing it's going to be better. But if you do know, and y'all talk to some people around there, yeah, do it. Do it. I don't care when we start. I just want 8 hours. The only thing I don't like is this. I don't like not having 8 hours. We've had some tournaments like that where the time changes and stuff, and like we don't get 8 hours. Something about the tournament organization, like not wanting to stay too late. I don't like that. Make sure we get our 8 hours in. First flight, definitely make sure that if it starts at 6, you better at least get 8 hours in. Don't stop it just because you want to get out of there quicker. That I don't like. All right. See y'all guys.